Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Wednesday. It's July 16th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And just real quickly, before we do the chart lesson, I'll just give you an update. My doctor visit went well. They're going to put me on some medication. They think they can control my AFib with just some mild medication. So we're going to try that, and we'll see how that goes. They're going to have me back in 3 months, and we'll see how I've been doing since then. And if that doesn't work, there's some other procedures that I'm not going to go into the details, but they basically go in and shock your heart in certain areas where, or zap your heart in areas where the AFib is, and it prevents your heart from doing it anymore. But mine's mild, so they think it's something I can control with this medication. I've took the medication today. I feel good. No AFib today either. Of course, I do go, 3 or 4 days in a row with none anyway, and then all of a sudden it just pops up out of nowhere. So we'll see. But they got me on the medication, and that's all we're going to do for now. Go back in 3 months, and we'll see how it works then. And but that's where I stand. So that's what they told me after yesterday. But let's get to the chart lesson and get that behind us. And you can see that another update today. Market closes in about 6 minutes, so it looks like we're going to close up. I don't think it's going to back off over the next 4 or 5 minutes here. So we continue to just chop around inside this tight range. Now notice we have tested this support 3 times now, so we could shoot on up again. We've relieved some of the overbought situation. We're still in the overbought areas, but we're not like we're not outside the overbought zone or even in the upper band at this point. So we got room to go up now. So we'll see what happens. Well, I don't know if you're following gold and silver and um, uh, the Bitcoin, and things like that, but they're all running sky high and in an uptrend. So um, if you own any of that stuff, just hold on tight and we'll see where it goes. But anyway, the markets continue to try to push higher, and it was just kind of a range day today, but it does close on its high. But let's flip over to the 2,000 tick chart, and you can kind of see what it looks like. So okay, here it is, and you can see that we were mostly sideways. We did sell off here mid morning and but rallied on another spiking channel and rallied the rest of the day. So I'd call this a range day. There's lots of mixed trading in here that closed on the highs or near the highs. So, but yeah, for the big picture, it's just mixed trading range type trading in my opinion. So lots of trades today. That's the one thing. There are a lot of setups here. So it's one of those days where you get a few extra. So if you couldn't find 2 trades a day, then uh, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, but you've got some work to do. But there were trades today. So, but let's zoom in here and we'll go through the trades. There were a couple of news items at 7:30, so you kind of had to sit tight. There wasn't really any trading you could do until after 7:30 today. So, and then by the time we could trade, it was just working sideways in this real tight, uh, congested type range here. But we got just after 8:30, we got a good setup there. This one was tempting, but I would wait because a lot of times you get 2 legs up, and you can see we did get another leg up. And this was also a first entry, second entry. So this is a second entry short. Um, we did put in a new high. You could trade this on the engulfing bar. Again, 95% of you should just ignore engulfing bars and only trade them after they close. Um, so you could take this one either way, though. This is mostly bullish when it broke higher first. So you could go short 1 tick below this if you understand what's going on. Then we bounced off the lows. I don't think that signal bar is good enough. And then it was 2 legs back up to the highs again and another bearish bar and a chance to go short again at the highs. And then we run down here. And then this one, you're working down here, so you don't want to enter that. You need the close out. You need the close outside the new low, and you get that right here. So maybe you go, but by the time it gets here, it doesn't really look like you're getting rejection down here. So I marked that one green. I wasn't crazy about it. You can see prices are just kind of working sideways. Excuse me, I'm having a little throat trouble today, but turns out to be a nice trade. Maybe you take that one, but he comes back here and bounces again, so another chance. No chance to get short on either one of these. This bar is too big. This one is not bearish enough. And we drop on down, and we're kind of working sideways again. And then this is actually a second entry short. There's not much room to the lows, but we've tried to go higher 3 times there too, so it's probably going to act like a triple test and turn down, and it does. So I marked it green, but it's not an ideal setup. So then we're just working sideways again. Now we do get a close outside and a new low here, but again, a lot of times you get 2 legs down like we did here, but we worked back sideways before we made that next leg down. And so I think it's if you took this trade, it would have worked, but I just think it's too risky because we've only had the first break was here, and we did make a new low, and it is a second entry long because that's a new swing high, but I mean, it's a possibility. You're a little ways away from the EMA, but I would sit tight and wait personally. And there's a 2-bar matching lows, but this one's too close to the EMA, and you see what happens. You just kind of get stuck working sideways. We come back again, and again, this looks a little congested. You get a close outside here, but no new low either. So it works up, close outside, new high, but no setup. Working back down, close outside, new low, no setup. First entry, second entry again, but this is your signal bar, no setup. There is a lower high here, but there's just not enough room to get out. And you see what would have happened. You would have got burned. And then we turn up again and make a first entry, and then there's a lower high second entry right there. And that's like 7 ticks, very low risk bar. You just about have to take that. And this one you could argue to be green. Again, you're always better off to wait on the lower high. But sometimes it's worth taking those breakouts. If this would have closed inside, I'd probably say take it. But since it closed right at the line, kind of outside, I think you have to wait on the lower high. And then it just runs to the lows. Tries to make a new low and can't. No setup there to go long. And then it breaks out up here. That's just the first entry. It's the first close out, really convincing close outside this trend line. This trend line's actually just a tad lower than that. It's like right across there. So that's your first close outside. It does make an equal high, so you could argue for that to be green, but I'd wait on the lower high. And you don't get one here. It just kind of drops down, close outside, new low, but no setup to go long, drops down again. And you're just chopping along. Now this one's tempting, but the highs had been lower there at that point. It ends up moving up. You could argue for it to go up, but I don't think you want to go long there, and you can't go short. Breaks out here. Signal bar is no good. Now here you get a close. You get one where you got enough room to get out back to the highs. So I do like that one. And we actually had a couple of previous bars bouncing off of it too, so runs up. It doesn't end up. It ends up going much higher, but it as long as you need room to scalp out before getting back to wherever your consistent highs are at. And then this breaks out, fails, turns down. You can't go short there. Just skip that. And I don't see anything all the way down here until finally you get a close outside. And you actually get a second entry there, but the signal bar doesn't qualify. And then you get a triple test, and there's plenty of room to get out. I like that one. That turns out to be a pretty nice trade. Works down, bounces, and it bounces. There's not a lot of consistent bounces here, so I don't think you can go long right there. I draw my line there now, and then if we get another bounce, maybe, but then we drop down. Again, you could argue for that to be green. But you're trying to pick bottoms, and you're generally going to get burned on that. Wait on the higher low, which comes here. You're still way away from the EMA. Most breakouts fail, so that's the better entry. It turns out to be a pretty good entry. And then you get a close outside and another move to a new high. I don't think that bar qualifies. I think it's too bearish. And no chance to get short. And we're running back down. I don't see anything that sets up you can take all the way down there. And then next thing you know, we're going higher again. And again, I don't see anything you can go long on right there. Until finally you get a 1, 2, 3, or you could just argue 1, 2, 3, triple test. First close outside. So on triple test, and it's this low risk bar, 9 ticks or so. I like going long. Just make sure you got room to scalp out. That's the key. It doesn't end up mattering because it goes much higher, but you need room to scalp out. Then it comes back down, and you get another chance to go long here. The thing is, this bar does not make the new low, but it's just like a trend bar off the lows. So even though that's an inside bar, it still closes inside. It's still got a stem that sticks out. I think you can take that trade. I marked it green because it's not a perfect setup, but I think you can take that trade. I don't think there's any reason not to.